Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be going over how you can give yourself an indestructible compound bow in The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Rift version or PC VR. Before we get started, take a minute to click the S in the corner to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so that'd be much appreciated. Also like, share, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the video or the game, any tips or tricks, all that good stuff is appreciated. Let's dig in here. The Aftershocks DLC is going to drop any day now. It's been delayed, but it's still coming out, so it's very exciting. So I thought I'd take a minute to continue my series on editing the save files of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners in order to provide some different scenarios in the game. In this case, we're going to take the compound bow and we're going to make it indestructible. Now, all weapons in the game have a durability. When that durability runs out, the weapon breaks. So by taking the bow and making it indestructible, it means you can keep it throughout the whole game if you want. You can shoot it as many times as you want, and it's not going to break. And it also has this crazy red glow, so I call it the bow of the beast. So let's get into it here. In order to edit the save files, we're going to need a hex editor. I use HXD. It's a freeware hex editor. It's got a lot of great features, very easy to use. I've already downloaded it and installed it. There'll be a link in the description, so go get that yourself. The other thing we're going to need is a utility to decode the save file. So you can find this on GitHub. There'll be a link in the description. You'll end up at a site like this. And this is the Unreal Engine SaveGame Converter. It's going to take the save file and it's going to convert it to a readable format so we can find the addresses of some values that we need to change. You'll see a site like this. You want to go to Releases. Under Releases, you want to expand the Assets drop down and then download this zip file and then extract it. And you're going to end up with a directory full of DLLs with one exe file. And that exe file, you can check out all the source code if you're interested in that sort of thing. But basically, it's going to parse out the Unreal Engine format for saves, and it's going to turn it into a readable format that we can look at some values in. So we've got our converter, and we've got HXD, the hex editor, looks like this. So now we need our save file. So the save files for the Walking Dead Rift version and PC VR version are in C/users/username, in this case subs/appdata/local/twd/saved. So if we open up that directory, which we see here, and what I'll do to start is copy this and paste it so that we have a backup in case anything goes wrong. Now HXD will also create a backup, but this means we've got 2 backups, double protection. So we'll go into Saved, go into SaveGames, and whichever profile you want to do this to, go into that profile. Now you're going to see multiple save files here. That's because each profile has a number of different save files depending on how long you've played the game. I think it can store up to 5 days of saves that you can go back and load. And in order to find the latest save, you're going to sort by date modified. In this case, save 8 is the most recent save, and that's the one that's going to be loaded if you choose to continue game. So what we want to do is copy that save file, Control C, and we're just going to paste it in the same directory for simplicity's sake with the GVAS Converter. So there we've got gvasconverter.exe and we've got save8.sav. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to run that converter to extract the information from the save file that we need in order to edit it properly. So we'll do that by opening a command prompt or a PowerShell prompt. Don't necessarily need to open it as an administrator, but that can't hurt. In order to run something in the command prompt or in PowerShell in this case, do // we want GVAS Converter. You can use tab to scroll through the available completions. There we go, GVAS Converter. And then we want save8.sav is our save file, which is in that directory, so this converter can access it easily, and just hit enter. We have parsing UE4 save file structure, converting to JSON, saving JSON, done. So that was successful. If there's an error in this process, probably means this video is out of date. They've made an update that's changed something. The converter here or the utility may need updating. Not a lot we can do at that point, but for now this worked and we're good to go. So we can close this window. Now if we look in the directory where we have the GVAS converter and we had the save file, we also have save.json. Now if we drop that JSON file into a text editor, in this case Write, or Notepad++, I should say, we've got some readable text. We've got these identifiers, which are characters and digits called GUIDs or GUIDs, and they represent items and resources in the game. Instead of actually writing out adhesives or 9mm or whatnot, you're going to see these GUIDs. So in order to find what we want to change, we're going to have to find the GUIDs for the items and resources that we want to change. Now, in order for this method to work, you need to have a compound bow in your inventory, hopefully on your person somewhere in the game, in the save file. So I have another video where you can unlock all the crafting stations and you can give yourself unlimited resources in order to build this if you're early in the game. But before you get into all this, you need to have a save game with a compound bow in one of the slots on your body or in the bus or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to find that compound bow in the save file. And to do that, we need to know the unique identifier for a compound bow. It's going to look something like this, but obviously different digits and different letters. So someone has indexed the items in The Walking Dead and their identifiers, and I'll put this link to the paste bin in the video description. So we want to find the compound bow, and it's right here. So we want to copy this identifier, and we want to find that in our JSON file. There we go. We found the value of that identifier, that GUID. So this entry in the save file represents a compound bow. We can see it's in slot index 4. We want a slot index greater than 0. If it's slot index 0, that might be a compound bow that's not in a slot somewhere. You want a slot index 4, 5, 7, 20, something like that. But this identifier means that this is the compound bow. Now currently, it has a durability, we can see down here, of 330. So what we want to do is change that durability to -1. Now, to do this, we're going to have to open up HXD and open up the save file. So we're going to close the GVAS Converter directory, and we're going to work directly on the save file now, because we've backed it up already. So we'll go back to our save directory, and we're going to open up HXD, and we're going to drag save 8 right into HXD. And we can shrink that window down for now. So we found the compound bow in the JSON file, but we haven't found it in the actual save file. To do that, we want to use this address of the durability. This is a hex address within the file. So this 0x tells us that this is a hex address, so we don't need that part. We don't need to copy the 0x. We'll copy everything after the 0x. And then we'll switch to HXD, and we'll press Ctrl G to go to that address. So here we have go to, and we're going to paste in that address of the durability of the compound bow, and we want to make sure that this hex radio button is checked off, and then we'll hit OK. And that should jump us down in the file. You can see here it's jumped down to durability. We can see here float property, and this is the float property. It actually started one byte early. These 2 zeros we don't want to touch. We want to move over 1, and we can see here we have A543. And if we look over in what's called the special editors, the data inspector, we can see that it says single float 32 330. So that's the durability that we have for this compound bow right now. Now, I've experimented with some of the other items. It seems that the compound bow is the only one that I've found that you can actually make indestructible. Other items, if you try to make them indestructible, they just break right away after one shot. So if you find one that does, let me know, leave it in the comments. But I've only found that the compound bow works for this, which is curious, but that's what it is. So what we want to do is change this 330 to -1. And to do that, we could change it here in the data inspector. I haven't done that method yet, so I'm not going to do it here, but you could do that. That is one way of doing it. You would click on float 32 there, the 330, and change that to -1. But I know what the -1 representation is in hexadecimal. So I'm going to grab that, and that is 000080BF, right? This right here. So what we're going to do is replace 0000A543 with, and make sure your cursor is in the hexadecimal area over here, these two sets of 2 zeros before what's probably the durability here. Your durability might be different, but you want to see it here in a readable number, a number that makes sense in float 32, and you want to skip 1 byte from where the address was, and you want to start at the next byte. You'll probably see 0000 and then some characters, some digits and letters. So we'll start there, and again we're just copying those 0000 again, and then it gets interesting with 80BF. Now if we want to check that, we can move the cursor back to the beginning of that value, which is at the first 0000, and we'll look at the single float, and now it says -1. So we've just changed the durability of the compound bow to -1. When we load up this save game, that same compound bow, wherever it is, whatever slot it's in, on over our shoulder or on the wall or on the backpack, it's going to be glowing red, and it's going to be indestructible. So what we'll do is we'll save this backup right now, or save this save file right now. The other thing we're going to do is give ourselves some arrows, because what good is an indestructible bow if you don't have any arrows? So now there's another paste bin with the GUIDs of resources and ammunition, and I'll paste that in the video description as well, but I've already got the unique identifier for regular arrows. Now the interesting thing about regular arrows is there could be a lot of entries in your save file for regular arrows, because you can actually shoot them into a wall and they'll stay there around the bus. So there could be a lot of arrows. You can also have arrows with diminished durability in your ammo storage. So you could have a bunch of arrows with 60% durability or something like that, and a bunch with 30% durability if you were shooting them and then picking them up. So in order to find our actual ammo storage of 100% durability arrows, we have to look for a couple things. So we'll copy this identifier, we'll go back to the JSON file, and we'll search for that identifier. First we'll go to the top of the file to make sure we don't miss any. And what we're looking for is an entry that's in a slot index of 0 and has 100 durability. So here we have slot index value of 0, and we have value 100 durability. So this is our entry for the amount of arrows in our kind of ammunition storage. And we can see here it has value of 8. So I know from this save game, which I just played the previous part of, I think day 34, I had 8 arrows left. So this makes sense. This is the amount of arrows we have in our ammunition storage. So we're going to go ahead and grab the hex address to the quantity of arrows right here. Don't copy the 0x, just copy the value after. We're going to go back to our save file, Control G to go. We'll clear what's there, make sure it's on hex, and we're going to jump to that area in the file. And we can see here we have quantity int property. Int is integer property, and we have 00, which we're going to skip that. That's where it put us, but we actually want 1 byte later. We're dealing with this 08. That's the number of arrows that we have. So we want to change that. In this case, we'll change it to 999 or 1,000 or something like that. So to be honest, I can't quite remember what the number is. Yeah, 999. And the hex entry for 999 is E70300. So we'll go back to HXD here. We'll go E7030000. And we'll just save that file. Actually, if we go back here to the beginning, we can see probably somewhere here, yeah, that in our data inspector, we can see that it's now 999 for a lot of these different interpretations of that value, or of that hex entry, or of those bytes, however you want to consider it in the file. So now we'll save that, and that's, we opened up our live save file, so that would have saved right into the directory that it's going to load up in the game. So if we close all this down and load up the game, we should see that our compound bow has no durability and yet is indestructible, and it's glowing red. Like I said, the bow of the beast. It's intimidating. And we should also have something like 999 or 1,000 arrows or something like that. I'm not sure if it's 0 based or 1 based or something like that for the arrows, but we should have a lot of arrows and an indestructible bow. So let's check that out. Alright, so here we are back in Saints and Sinners. We're going to check to see if our indestructible bow of the beast is just that. And we can see that we've got 1,000 arrows, and we've got a glowing red bow with 0 durability, which means that it should be indestructible, last forever, and have a brilliant evil glow, as we can see here. So let's just take it for a quick run. We're not going to bring anything else, because this is not a canon run. This is just be a burnt test run. What do we got here? Early herd, food cache, 2 elite patrols. So let's go throw some arrows around. Although they're not that great against guns, but let's do it. We can just keep notching and flinging. Let's try to stay behind cover, and we'll just let fly. Whoa, gotta get my aim on. I'm going way off to one side. It's alright though. That one off the helmet. Back off. There we go. Nobody can withstand the bow of the beast. I've got another video where I let fly 666 arrows after the bells. I'll link to that. But there you go. A little save editing, and you can take this bow with you for the entirety of the game, if you keep track of it. Where's that other patrol? It's got to be around here somewhere. This level's not that big. Come on. Higher. There we go. Another sicko. So what are we at? Still 0 durability, or -1 durability as it were. There's our other patrol. We don't have a lot of cover here.
It's your time to die, ass.
Is it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. Whoa, that's a nice platter. What else we got here? You know, something like an indestructible weapon kind of breaks the game's balance. You really need the weapon durability to put the player, the tourist here, on an even playing field with everybody else. Otherwise, you know, you can just keep shooting and not worry. You guys all coming back? In good time, in good time. Just one indestructible weapon, especially if it's a ranged weapon. I mean, really makes you indestructible, unless you run out of arrows, but we have a fix for that. Well, that's the other skiff. I don't know if we can take out these boards with arrows. Probably not. Gonna have to go a different way. Doing some heavy breathing. Let's let our stamina just come back for a second. There we go. Well, there you have it. Little save editing and you get the brilliant yet evil Bow of the Beast, Indestructible. If you haven't already, take a minute to click the S in the corner to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So that'd be much appreciated. Also, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know if you find other weapons that you can make indestructible or anything else interesting you find in the save file. You know, leave feedback on the video or tips and tricks for the game. All that good stuff is appreciated. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.